The year 2025 has just begun, and the Simpsons predictions already seems to be coming true. A scene of this kind was already shown by the Simpsons 9 years ago. On September 25th, 2016, it depicted an American town where air broke out for some reason, turning an entire city into ashes and smoke. After the fire was extinguished, the photos coming from Los Angeles country are astonishingly similar to the Simpsons scene. While this photo is a mystery in itself, what is even more puzzling is how the Simpsons predicted the same scene in 2002. What is the real truth behind this? Is it really true that powerful people have planned everything in advance? And besides the Los Angeles wildfire for 2025, what other Simpsons predictions are likely to come true? Welcome once again. The Simpsons is a legendary animated sitcom series whose first episode was broadcast when most of us weren't even born yet, on the 17th of December 1989. Since then, more than 700 episodes have been released, and now this cartoon has become the longest running scripted show in history in both the cartoon and drama categories. This cartoon was initially quite popular among children, but now its audience has no age limit, and the biggest reason for this is the events shown in it that have proven true in the real world many years later. There is a very long list of Simpsons predictions that have come true in the past. In a 1998 episode, Homer Simpson is shown standing in front of a blackboard, trying to invent something new by writing a mathematical equation. At that time, perhaps no one even saw this clip, but 14 years after this episode was launched, in 2012, scientists discovered the Higgs boson particle, also known as the God particle. The Higgs boson is a particle in the universe that gives everything its weight. If this particle did not exist, nothing would have weight, and perhaps there would be no existence of sparkling stars, planets, and us people in this universe. The discovery of the God particle is quite astonishing, but what is even more surprising is that the physicists who discovered the God particle in 2012 say that the equation the Simpsons was writing on the blackboard 14 years ago was very close to calculating the mass of the God particle. Moving on, in an episode broadcast in March 1995, Lisa is shown in London. The scene shows London's famous Big Ben Tower, behind which the London Bridge can also be seen. But there is one thing in this picture that was not present at that time, this cone-shaped skyscraper. How did the Simpsons know that exactly 17 years later, a skyscraper of exactly the same shape would be built in exactly the same place, which is now called the Shard? The construction of this building started 14 years after that episode of The Simpsons in 2009. How could such a big coincidence happen? Even if we assume that this was just a coincidence, is this also a coincidence? In a 1998 episode, the 20th Century Fox logo is shown. There is nothing special about this logo, but if you look below it, it says a division of Walt Disney Co. While at that time, 20th Century Fox Studios was not owned by Walt Disney. 21 years after this episode was published, Walt Disney actually bought 21st and 20th Century Fox Studios. In the year 2000, in The Simpsons episode Back to the Future, Lisa is shown becoming the President of the United States, and she has received very little budget. In the meeting, Lisa says that this is all a result of the previous US president's policies, in which she blames President Trump. The question here is that when this episode was released, Trump was a well-known businessman, but there was no chance of him becoming president. This clip of the episode went viral when, 16 years later, in 2016, Trump became the President of America for the first time. In another scene, The Simpsons showed Trump descending from an escalator, and exactly the same scene was repeated in 2015 when he came down the escalator of Trump Tower and gave the news of his candidacy to the media. In a 1998 Simpsons episode, there was a scene in which Lisa shows a list of people who she said would win the Nobel Prize in the future. If you look closely at this list, there is a name, Bengt A. Holmstrom. The surprising thing is that this episode was released in 1998, but in 2016, Bengt A. Holmstrom actually received the Nobel Prize. These were the predictions of The Simpsons, because of which this animated series gained a lot of fame. People are surprised to see how The Simpsons accurately predicts the future many years in advance. The questions that are coming to your mind are also in my mind. Scene 2, Digital Clock Prediction. In this episode, Lisa goes to London and sees a digital clock instead of an analog clock on the famous Big Ben Tower. It may not be possible to permanently digitize the Big Ben clock, but it is not impossible either. If it is ever done temporarily, it will be a very important day in history. Let us tell you that in 2022, renovations were done on the Big Ben Tower. And during this time, it was definitely thought that if the tower's clock could be digitized for a short time on the occasion of a special event in the UK, it would be a significant turning point in history. Now, will it be the year 2025 when a digital clock will be installed on this tower? Only time will tell. The next prediction on our list is a female president of the USA. There has never been a female president in the history of America, and The Simpsons have predicted that America will have a female president. In 2016, Hillary Clinton participated in the election, but she was not successful. And now in 2024, Kamala Harris has also tried her luck, but now Donald Trump has won the election again and will join office on January 20th, 2025. So, how does the chance of a female president arise in 2025? This idea was floated in another scene of The Simpsons when a small badge had Ivanka 2028 written on it. Maybe Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka will announce her candidacy in the 2028 election this year, 2025, but for now she is not a part of American politics. Moving on, the next prediction of The Simpsons that may come true in 2025. In a 2010 episode, The Full Monty, it was shown that Mr. Burns has created a device to control the mind so that people's minds can be run against their will. And now let us tell you that the world-renowned billionaire Elon Musk, whom you only know as the owner of companies like Tesla, SpaceX and Starlink, also has another company called Neuralink, and this company has been working for the past several years on a device that will connect the human brain to a computer. For now, its job will only be to control diseases like paralysis, Alzheimer's, and epilepsy. There is a plan to bring the prototype of this device to the world in 2025. On February 23, 2020, in an episode of The Simpsons, Professor Frink created his own crypto coin, which was named Frinkcoin. After this, Professor Frink becomes the richest person in Springfield, which is a fictional town in this animated series. This episode shows the importance of making wealth from cryptocurrency and digital assets in a humorous way. In another episode of The Simpsons, cryptocurrency is also shown replacing traditional currency. Cryptocurrency experts say that perhaps 2025 will be the year because Donald Trump promised before the election that he would make America the crypto capital of the world. And now he is about to join office soon. Let's move on to the next prediction. In a 1996 episode, fusion energy was mentioned. Here, let us tell you that fusion energy is more powerful than today's clean energy because it does not produce greenhouse gases, generates more power from less fuel, and does not leave long-term radioactive waste, compared to fission, which is currently used in energy generation. Two years ago, a lab in California successfully performed a fusion reaction, which The Simpsons hinted at in 1996, and it is possible that a prototype of this will be brought to the world in 2025. If this happens, it will be cheaper to generate electricity than hydro power, wind turbines, and solar, and it will also have no negative impact on the environment. Now, before coming to the secret of The Simpsons prediction, let's see one last prediction that may come true in 2025. In a 1995 episode, Lisa used a holographic phone in which the person on the other side of the phone appeared in front of her in a three-dimensional projection. Meta and Apple are already working on this, and it is possible that this thing will be launched in 2025. 30 years ago, The Simpsons showed this technology as a joke, but now, after augmented reality and holography, it is possible that in 2025, we will see three-dimensional calls instead of video calls. I've seen 2 copied performances. While many predictions of The Simpsons have actually come true, when this animated series became quite famous, people deliberately copied some of its scenes to gain attention. For example, in a 2012 episode, Lady Gaga was shown performing in a concert wearing a silver dress and hanging in the air. And then in 2017, Lady Gaga actually performed the same performance. Similarly, Miley Cyrus exactly copied The Simpsons' Wrecking Ball scene, which was originally released in 1994. A lot has been deliberately done to gain media attention. Seen 2 real events after Simpsons. But the other side of the story remains to be seen. Many times it has also happened that after real events, The Simpsons made a cartoon of it, and then it was shown on social media as if it were a prediction from years ago. The photo of the burning globe that you saw at the beginning of the video was not predicted by The Simpsons years ago. This real photo is from 2017, in which Donald Trump, King Salman, and the Egyptian president were holding their hands on the globe while launching a center against extremism. After this photo went viral, The Simpsons also made and posted a cartoon of this scene, and then people on social media showed it as if The Simpsons had predicted it in 2002. Now, because The Simpsons is famous for this reason, people also believed it. Similarly, the scene of Donald Trump descending from the escalator was also made and posted by The Simpsons after it actually happened. The escalator scene is actually from June 16th, 2015, and The Simpsons posted it on July 7th, 2015. But so many more predictions have also proven true, so how does this animated series predict the future? The Simpsons' future prediction is actually their clever observations and, most of all, just coincidence. This is not a conspiracy theory that there are powerful people behind them. The Simpsons writers are also well aware of this, and they are a team of very talented people who assess the situation and guess what will happen in the future. Like when The Simpsons predicted smartwatches and video calls, at that time there were only landline phones in homes, but this idea had already been floated. And with the speed at which technology was increasing, it was not difficult to guess that there would be video calls in the future as well. As we all know today that due to global warming, one day all the glaciers will melt. So, if The Simpsons make any such prediction today and a big glacier melts in the next 10 to 20 years, everyone will say that The Simpsons predicted it. Apart from this, The Simpsons writers follow trends, technology, and politics very closely and exaggerate these trends in the show. And we should not forget that more than 700 episodes of The Simpsons have been released. These have countless ideas and countless scenes. If 10 to 15 scenes out of so many scenes match any future event, it is not a big deal. Showing Donald Trump as president in the year 2000 was also just a coincidence. At that time, Donald Trump had just entered politics, so The Simpsons showed him as president as a joke. Similarly, if we look at the cone-shaped building shown behind the Big Ben Tower in the 1995 episode, there were also clever observations of The Simpsons behind it. In the place where this building, the Shard, stands, there was previously another tower called Suffolk Towers. In the 1990s, this building became outdated and there was an intention to demolish it and build an iconic building here. And this news was also published in newspapers. Now, the Simpsons writers knew that an iconic building would be built at this location in the future. And at that time, cone-shaped designs looked very futuristic, so they made a cartoon of it, which later matched the actual building as well. In reality, this was not a prediction, but just a coincidence. Hopefully you people will also like and share this video. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next